seeing bits and pieces of that, which warms my heart. Because one of the things that has disturbed me is that the generation, our children, would capture what the SWAT really meant to us, that we passed on to them, so that they can then pass it on to their children. I'm afraid that that legacy will get lost, which is one of the reasons that I'm so interested in this project that you are doing, that I'm trying to help you do, was because of what you said about using the religion and the music and the art to tell our history. Because, gosh, if you can't get it through those three vehicles, you're not going to get it. But we have so much to pass on to our children. And Jody, who expressed her opinion, and Ray, my daughter, who expressed her opinion, they said to me, okay, it wasn't all lost. They saw it. They really saw the Hamilton homes. They saw Maynard. They saw Dawson. I tried to get Dawson's son to come and talk about his legacy on the corner up there. They saw you. And Ray Yvonne was talking about how you inspired her when you opened up your art gallery. I didn't know that that stuck in her little head, but it did. So it's just a wonderful project, and if they can take away from what we gave them and be proud of it like we are, it's a wonderful thing. I'm concerned that some of us, I mean those who look like me, are moving out and others are moving in. I can't be critical of that, but I can wish that more of us were settling there because of the community that we created that surrounded our children. My daughter just mentioned to me her son, little Kevin, would not be able to grow up in the same kind of community she grew up in. And I said, what do you mean? She said, well, I wasn't afraid to go from my house to Camille's house to Misty's house to somebody else's house. You know, I would just go and we'd jump on the not the treadmill, but whatever it's called, at somebody else's house, and they'd come over to our house and swim and go to somebody else's house and and they weren't afraid. She said, I'm afraid that my son, your grandson, can't do that. So we talked about that for a while. I just hope that whoever moves into the SWATs understands its legacy, and our legacy can grow. I've seen two different levels of children. You know, I have my older children, Beth, who moved to DC. She's doing fine. And then my middle daughter, Brooke, who moved to Inman Park. I tried to make her stay in the SWATs, but she wanted to move downtown. But Ray Yvonne, my baby, and my son, Maynard III, are actually living in the SWATs. So I think I'm seeing it revolve. I think the fact that my middle daughter wanted to live downtown had its day, but I see more of us coming back to the SWATs. I see that, and that makes me feel good. I came here from North Carolina, yes. I went to North Carolina Central, which is where I met Maynard. So I came here to get married. But I came here to get involved in a super family. Now, I came from the country. I mean, the country. It was, and I grew up in an era, a generation, probably not a full generation, before Camille. So in my house, when I was a little girl, there was an outdoor toilet. My grandmother killed chickens by spinning them around and letting them flop all over the backyard. So when I went through that, I knew that when I left Lewisburg, I wasn't coming back. This was it. I was gone. I was going to college. When I finished college, I was off to discover things. I was an inquisitive child, and I wanted to see what was next. But I met Maynard when I was in grad school. He was in law school, and we did what we did. So I came to Atlanta with a different set of circumstances to embrace me. It was this family who was the Dobbs family. I would imagine that some people might think that might be overwhelming, but I didn't receive it as such. What impressed me so much was what Atlanta had to offer because of the AU Center, because of the fact that black people had to do for themselves. We had to have our own hospital. We had to have our own insurance company. We had to have our own drugstore. We had to have, well, of course we had our own nightclubs, but we had to do that. And so we did it. So I grew up in that era, not thinking anything about not being able to go downtown to a hotel. I could go to Pascal's. There was a movie theater in the Fair Street Bottom that I could even go to. So that was comforting to me. I didn't see it as something of a turnoff. I was proud to be called bourgeois, and I defended the term bourgeoisness because I said, well, goodness, if we aren't proud of who we are, then why should other people be proud of who we are? So I didn't see it as a turnoff. I saw it as something, well, wow, look what T.M. Alexander did. He built his own insurance company. Well, look what Alphonso Dawson did. You know, we had McClendon Hospital before we could go to Grady. That's the kind of community I moved into. So it was just a replication of that community when I moved on Oakcrest Drive. And so that was my introduction to the S.W.A.T.S. It was just black people who were doing things for black people because black people loved black people, and I wanted to be a part of it.